I've talked to you before about universities plummeting in terms of international rankings over the last 10 to 15 years in New Zealand compared to other countries in the world. The latest rankings I saw, there's the Times Education Supplement, there's the Quad something or other. There are about 3 major international rankings. And New Zealand's generally only had one university in the top 200 of those rankings. It stays there, limpet-like, I have to say, or slipping still, but it is clearly New Zealand's premier tertiary institution, and that's the University of Auckland. And I don't know why it's ranked higher than Otago or Canterbury or Victoria or Massey, but it is. Having said that, the last rankings that I looked to, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 Australian universities would be ranked higher on all of those international ranking surveys than Auckland. So you would expect that one of the things that we would aim to do in a country like New Zealand is have excellence in our tertiary institutions, and certainly if we have got one in the top 200, making that even more excellent and bridging the gaps, particularly with our Australian competition. And all these things are important because so many universities' financial structures are reliant upon attracting international students. The first thing that international students tend to do, or certainly their parents, is look at the international rankings the university is going to send their kids to and go, right, off we go. Because where you get a degree or a diploma from these days has never been more important, not just what you learn. Well, in 2022, as part of Auckland University looking at itself, and you would presume trying to improve its academic pedigree and international rankings, it decided to start focusing on the Treaty of Waitangi for reasons that seem beyond me, but we'll find out in just a second with our next guest. And they've been looking and pushing through the University of Auckland Senate a vote to culturally transform the curricula and the institution of Auckland University. And that has included mostly giving purpose and meaning to the Treaty of Waitangi, or it's not called that, of course, it's Te Tiriti these days, and infiltrating and installing the infrastructure, if you like, of the treaty into everything that is taught. And we've talked, for example, about Auckland University students now having tikanga Māori taught purposefully. But Auckland University want to go further than that. Into every course that is taught on that institution, they wish to instill the principles of Te Tiriti o Waitangi and Te Ao Māori. So in other words, the Māori viewpoint as well, not simply the principles of a treaty, which nobody actually can work out what it actually means. It seems to be a movable feast, but a Māori worldview as well, which I have to be honest with you, I still haven't got a handle around because it seems to be a diverse beast as well. Joining us to talk about this is Emeritus Professor Elizabeth Rata on the Indigenization, if you like, of Auckland and of our tertiary institutions in this country and the implications for us all. Professor Rata, lovely to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, good morning, Michael. No, good to be with you. Just correct you, I'm not an emerita yet. I'm not retired. I'm still working. Still employed.
I'm sorry. My apologies. What's your area? Is it English, Elizabeth?
No. I'm a sociologist of education. 2 main areas: expertise in ethnic politics and knowledge, and my other area is curriculum design, curriculum knowledge.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. And you've also been, I think, tapped on the shoulder by Erica Stanford and this government to look at the curriculum as well. Is that right?
Yes, that's all happening at the moment. So that's something I'll leave for the Minister to talk about at this stage.
No, I've actually had, one of the chairs of that your particular area on, but that's the one that's currently going to be put into our primary schools next year. That's the one you've been working on, isn't it?
No, the one I've been working on is the English Year 7 to 13 curriculum.
Oh, right. So when does that come into being?
It will be put out for consultation, I think, at the end of October.
Okay, so it won't come in next year, it'll come in the year after that then, if it does come in.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
so there'll
gotcha.
be a full year of consultation, then 2026 it will come in.
Elizabeth, the reason that we're talking to you is because I got sent to me over the weekend, in actual fact, the 15-page overview of the science curriculum that the University of Auckland wants to introduce to all undergraduate degrees. It's known as Science Waipapa Tau Mātaro. I guess you've seen a copy of that. And the aim is to provide Māori-focused curriculum content, Te Tiriti o Waitangi principles and accountability, and ensure that all students have the relevant knowledge of place, presumably Te Ao place, Māori place, to enhance their learning. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, that's what's going to be rolled out from next year in all faculties, not just science. There'll be one of these compulsory courses will be an undergraduate course in every faculty.
And the aim is to teach what? What I've just described? Or is there a bit more than that?
No. What I think it will do is turn the university into a faith-based institution, a bit like a wānanga or a seminary or a madrasa. It will mean that the university is no longer a university in the sense that we understand, a place for the discovery of new knowledge, for the testing, for the refutation of knowledge that we currently have. In modern science, it will no longer be an institution that is able to do that because it will be under a different form of authority. It will be under the authority of Ngāti Whātua, of this process of indigenization will mean that the authority of science, which is that everything must be put up to be challenged, will be replaced by the authority of belief, where you can't challenge anything.
Yes, and that's your real problem. I mean, there are two real problems here. One, you're suggesting that a sociological perspective of a particular viewpoint is now being placed as a compulsory part of the undergraduate curriculum. But the second one is you don't have the ability to challenge those teachings. Is that your other point that you're making?
That's right, yes. Yes, they are the two main points. And they are, in fact, what makes the modern university a university. And so if you take away those two things, we can't be a university. It just doesn't make sense. And perhaps a third factor is the idea of this sort of place-based idea. A university is, you look at the word itself, it's universal. It's not bound to place at all. It's about ideas that can be applied anywhere, that may be suggested by, problems in a particular place, and may be able to be, the solutions may be applied to a particular place, but the ideas themselves are not bound to a place.
I also see, for example, in the science curriculum, I've only got the science part of this at the moment, not the other curriculum areas that you've described. But I see, for example, that it's going to introduce, and these are direct quotes, it will also introduce, from the University of Auckland, knowledge systems, including Mātauranga Māori, explicitly, and highlight some of the defining features of Indigenous knowledge systems more generally. Now, this is meant to integrate itself within, this particular case, as I'm reading, the science curriculum. If Mātauranga Māori is at variance with established science, what happens?
Well, that's the question, of course. I mean, in a university, there is a place for traditional knowledge, such as Mātauranga Māori, say in anthropology or in history, maybe in the history of science, but as a method of understanding the world. It has no place in a university.